And what are the biggest side effects of it? I know people probably know the big ones, but what are to you the main side effects of anabolic steroids?
Probably the long-term ones that are around cardiovascular disease. We know that it increases cardiovascular risk factors through a number of different routes in relation to blood pressure, in relation to cholesterol balance, and with your heart is a muscle, and anabolic steroids are shotguns. They don't just work on the muscles you want, so you're going to get enlarged heart.
Mm.
And so, we're now seeing people who've been using for a number of decades, and they're experiencing, high levels of heart disease. But it's quite difficult to say to a young man, maybe at the age of 20, 22, this may knock 5 years off your life, because they're just, well, it'll be the last 5 years. Why would it be bothered? So
Yeah,
it's quite difficult to put that forward. But there's other we've got emerging evidence of changes to the brain, which is only something that's really emerged in the last 5 years. And we're seeing structural changes in those people who've been using, again, for a long time, and high dosages. And they have what we call the brain age gap, which is identifying what somebody's brain structure should be at a certain point and what it is in reality. And we see differences in those people who've used anabolic steroids. And this seems to manifest itself in things like emotional control and memory. But again, this is long-term problems. For those people in the short term, the main thing is, I suppose, there's cosmetic things. There's the gynecomastia, the growth of breast tissue, because like nature's little sort of sense of humor, that if you've got too much testosterone, what your body tries to do is convert it into a female hormone to balance things out. And so that's why you have anabolic steroid users developing breast tissue. But the key thing for me is around we call hypogonadism. And that's because when you take external anabolic steroids, you don't need to produce your own. So your testicles shrink. And then when you stop using, you have this massive dip in circulating testosterone. So you don't just go back to your normal levels. You go back to, it goes right to the floor, so that you don't have circulating testosterone. And this can make you feel very low in mood. It can virtually destroy sex drive, and so you don't just start losing the gains that you had. You dip to a point that before you started using.